All right, I'm starting now. Yes. And I'm pushing the button to
Push
record
it.
last time. There we
We're
go. Now
streaming on
Are,
YouTube.
and you're live on the radio this time?
we are live on the radio this time.
Are you
Yoo-hoo!
sure about that?
I just double checked it. If you're listening and you're already here, excellent and welcome to the show.
You get a little bit of behind the scenes action before we start
Yep, because we know
officially.
each other. All right, you ready?
It's
I'm
not
ready.
showing. It's not showing up on my internet that we're live on Radio Overland.
It says on air and the push to talk button is locked.
Right on. Well,
It does take a couple seconds to.
All right, I'm starting.
All right, go
Well-
ahead and start.
we'll let Rick let us know.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 263, 2021 Bronco reveal.
Tonight, Aaron taps out. I count some splines, and Ben flies a kite.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. I'm your host, Ben, and tonight I'm here with my co-host, Jeremy, Aaron, and we are joined with Coy from
Wow.
Booze and Barbecue. He's back, and we were going to talk about his Alford desert trip, but tonight instead we're talking Bronco, if you guessed by the title. And Jeremy, what's up, man?
Well, I have been up to a lot. So I have been trying to get my Jeep fixed. So I ended up pulling out the passenger side shaft because I needed to. Last time you guys heard that I needed to go ahead and replace my shaft seal because the shaft seal on the driver's side, it decided to come apart. So I needed to do shaft seal. So I pulled the passenger side shaft. Well, and unfortunately, I found out that my inner splines, are damaged on the on that shaft. So I'm hoping that the carrier isn't damaged. I need to still pull it. I pulled the diff cover off a couple days or yesterday, and just did a quick wire brush and repainted it. It looks glorious now, gloriously shiny. It won't stay that way for long, obviously, but it looks good now. But yep, I'm hoping that it's not going to be too bad. I'm hoping the carrier's not damaged or the locker's not damaged. A bunch of steel didn't come out with the oil when I pulled the diff cover, so that's a good sign. We're just hoping that it was just the shaft that's damaged, but I ordered some new shafts, got some RCVs, so a little bit better than the U-joint design. I figured, well, since I need to replace the shaft anyway, might as well just go for it and get the better design. So can't wait for those to come in.
Did you tell your wife that was the cheapest option?
I plead the fifth.
I'm just curious, how long before there's more not Jeep parts on your Jeep than Jeep? Because you already have the Hemi swap from the factory, so that's
Yeah.
not Jeep.
It
Like you're
depends
working
on
your
the-
way into like a custom rig and not Jeep. More of a kit Jeep.
That's true. I mean, soon I want to get, Dana 60. Actually, I like the Rock Jock 60s that have the slanted or the carriers canted back. That's what I really want to get eventually. But
You know, Jeep actually makes Jeep brand portals that you can order.
that would be cool too. Although can they take a 40 or a 42?
You don't need 40s if you have portals.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good point. So anyway, hoping that it's not hoping the carrier's okay. So we'll just pray for good stuff.
Or rock jocks?
No, because I can't go and just buy that. It would be replacing whatever parts are broken. The gears looked fine. It would just be part of the locker probably if something was bad. But we'll find out. So I was able to go in and install the new vapor canister and the skid plate. So hopefully my gas tank doesn't overflow anymore when I fill it up, because that was really getting annoying when it would just burp like, I don't know, half a quart of fuel every time I filled up. So I'm going to blame that on the so when I ripped off my vapor canister, part of the vent lines got melted to my exhaust, and so it kind of closed those up. So I'm just gonna say that was hopefully the reason that it was overflowing. hopefully. I still need to replace the ball joints on the passenger side. And on the driver's side, I need to actually pull the ball joints because they're the Terraflex ball joints. And where the grease fitting is located, you have to actually install them 180 degrees off from where you install them for a typical U joint. Otherwise, you cannot access the grease when you have the RCV shafts in. So I got to get all that put back together before that Nevada trip. That's like 36 days away.
Ooh.
I'm trying so hard not to make like Jeep reliability comments right now, just because I come back on me. But like you kind of just spent like 5 minutes telling us what all's broke on your Jeep.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that was probably my fault mostly.
driver error. Well, speaking of which, since you're talking, Coy, what's up, man? What's new?
Not much. I haven't done anything cool since we spoke last. Basically, I've bought some things. I found out today that you can change your tire with a crescent wrench, and it sucks a lot. I blew a tire out on the freeway today,
And all you had was a crescent wrench.
well, I don't daily my FJ to work because I have a pretty long commute. So I just got this old like 92 Chevy pickup, 2-wheel drive, and tire blew. So I busted out all the tire kit and somebody pulled the lug wrench out at some point and never put it back. Not me, like somebody before me.
Sure, that's a likely story.
I've only changed one tire on it and it was in front of my shop. So I obviously just grabbed all my impact and stuff. But
Oh, yeah, why would you not?
yeah, so I took all the stuff out and I was like, where is the lug wrench? And there was none. So I looked up the nearest Napa, which was 2 hours away and didn't open for an hour. And then I looked at the crescent wrench that was sitting in my passenger seat and I thought maybe I can do this. And somehow it worked. And then I got it just tight enough to limp it into work and got an actual lug wrench, tightened it down.
That's crazy right there.
Yeah, I strongly recommend that you do not do that because I didn't really believe that it would work, but it was just out of desperation at that point. I ordered a Dragonfly tarp awning, so it's not here yet. It was supposed to ship Friday, and I was hoping it would be here today, but not yet. But hopefully soon.
I saw they started doing awnings. Hadn't realized. I thought they had just done the tarps. Those awnings are pretty fancy.
I hope so. I looked at them. It would have been 3 years ago at the Northwest Overland Rally when he was there, and he was making the van tarp one that I got then. But I had it customized a little bit, so it's going to be my mounting point is 7.5 feet wide, and then I believe tip to tip on it's kind of diamond shaped, I guess. So that longest tips on it, I think those are 18 feet apart, and then I had them go out 14 feet. So it's gonna be a pretty big awning.
Big. That'll be nice. What about you, Aaron? What's new, man?
Hey,
Let's see here.
Hey, Aaron, can I cut in for a sec?
Cut me, baby.
I don't hear us on the radio version.
It says we're on air. It says we're recording.
Says live. Is the button locked?
The button is locked.
It says live. I keep going into it and I don't hear us.
Are you hearing us now?
Well, it takes a couple seconds to go catch back up, but I don't know.
No?
All right, continue. I'll try to see if I can get us on the radio.
That's so weird.
Well, what have I been up to? Oh, Aaron has been up to working on the podcast studio. I didn't get a chance to finish the desk, so I just slapped up a piece of plywood and I'm making it happen for now. I got a brand new podcast mic. That's what I'm talking on. A new web camera, which you can't see me on because I haven't moved my internet antenna. I don't have really good internet out here, so I use WeBoost, and it's up in my attic. And every day when I get home and it's 140 degrees in my attic, I don't really want to go up there and move it, so I got to wait till the weekend. Beyond that, I bought a kid's go-kart for my son.
I'm going to cut in. Rick told us we're not on the radio.
Okay, bummer. We'll have to figure it out while I'm talking.
Yep.
So I bought a kid's go-kart. It is like the Baja brand. It's just a Ching Chong Miao Chinese go-kart. The engine at some point was replaced with a Harbor Freight 6.5 horse Predator motor. Before I started running it, I brought it to my friend who's a small engine mechanic and said, hey, it's only running at half choke. It won't run with the choke completely off. Can you look at it? And he gets back to me in a couple of days and he's like, well, so the cylinder where it connects to the block has got a air leak. Run it till it blows. So I said, all right. So I brought it home, and last weekend my son and I were driving it, jumped in it and rode it down to our lower field, and it immediately died. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And it turned out it ran out of gas. so we had someone come with a quad and tow us back up. We filled it up with gas, and then we're dry. And then I sent my son off to ride it with some friends, and he's broken down out there. We got and check on it. He's like, oh, it's making some noise. So we towed it back and started looking at it, and all the bolts that hold all the pulleys for the drivetrain to the block, all the bolts had pulled out. So we take it apart. The bolts just push in. They're just completely stripped out of the aluminum block. And so we're like, well, let's just tap it out for some bigger bolts. Let's do it. Let's get her done. It's still running. It's not blowed up yet. And so we did that. We spent about an hour taking it apart, tapping the holes, digging through my bolts, finding bigger bolts, and put it back together. And throughout the weekend, it progressively got slower and slower and slower. And right now with my son in it, it barely goes up a slight incline as it's lost power. It'll only run at full choke now. It won't run at half choke anymore. So it's almost time for a Predator 13 horse swap. So we're going to double the horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah. $300 for a Predator motor. You just can't beat that.
Comes with SARS too.
It does. Yeah. Well, but if I leave it, if I don't touch it for like 7 days, I think all the coronas and SARS and avian bird flu will die.
There's a new super dangerous swine flu in China right now, so we can expect that any day.
Also, bubonic plague.
Dude,
Bubonic
if
plague is in China right now.
I saw an article about that.
I kind of want to get that if I survive, just to be able to I mean, I had the plague, but it wasn't that bad.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah. So time for an engine for the go-kart. I also was riding my mini bike around, and the chain kept coming off and then really kept coming off. So I got 2 broken Chinese junk toys at my house that I vowed to never buy because they're Chinese junk toys. So, but it did prove the point to the wife that when you buy cheap stuff, you get junk. Because we were talking about buying a side-by-side a month ago, and at the last minute she bowed out. So
Hey Ben.
Yes.
Now the only thing coming through the radio is your channel.
Oh my god.
nice. This is pretty fun. This is
So-
good.
So sorry for the technical difficulties if you're on the radio side.
Yes.
If you are trying to tell them if they're trying to listen to the radio side, hop over to the YouTube.
There we go. Now it's working.
Yeah.
All right. If you're
good.
listening on the radio side, I apologize.
It's
for some reason,
working now.
settings changed, and I think I got it all squared away now. It sounds like
Yep.
it's working, right?
Yep, it's working now.
Oh, never a dull moment, right, guys?
Yeah, they
Well,
haven't asked anything.
Well, Jeremy talking about his Jeep breaking down reminded me that when I was on the way back from picking up the go-kart, I think my truck is making a noise. It sounds like a wheel bearing or something, but it could be the really crappy trailer that I'm borrowing that I'm pulling behind it. So
Well, no, you'll have to take the LMTV to Nevada.
Actually I wouldn't. My wife hates the LMTV, and
Oh, she really?
she would not ride in the LMTV all the way to Nevada with me.
She'd ride with me.
Look, your wife and my wife don't know each other, but we'll throw them in my FJ, and you and me will drive the LMTV.
There you go.
Okay,
That seems fair.
but so the other problem is the cost of fuel at 6 to 7 miles the gallon.
Just when Ben inevitably breaks something, just charge him for the lift
Towing.
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just throw it on the flatbed, man.
Could you pick up like a short haul and just like haul down some lumber or something to Nevada, drop that off?
There you go.
Just
Yeah,
throwing.
that's thinking
Where's the rooftop tent supposed to go then?
over the cab.
Yeah, I
Over
mean,
the cab.
Why
That's
not?
why that's why they call it a rooftop tent.
Well, I mean, I doubt that Bobby has a ladder long enough to go from the cab down to the bed. So you just put the ladder down to the bed.
maybe
Yeah.
there's somebody that needs like a discovery or something, move to Reno, and they already have a rooftop tent on it. You chain it down, do the trip, drop it off
There
at
you go.
Reno on the last day, and then bail.
Yeah,
I
sounds
could
great.
I could be like, yeah, I did the whole Nevada trip with a Land Rover.
Yeah.
It didn't break down one time.
It didn't. You got the best fuel economy.
It still lost 7 quarts of oil, but
Exactly. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Also, if we
So-
come across any place where we can't put up a ground tent, somebody can just sleep on, on the flatbed.
We could hang hammocks underneath the LMTV. It's got such good ground clearance.
there
Just
you-
just have the person hang off the rear drive shaft. You just you sloth it throughout the night.
I'd have to be a very strong person.
I don't think anybody can hold on all night while they're sleeping.
No.
lost can. So there.
Well, I've been pretty lame. I haven't done much of anything except clean my Forerunner, minus the fact that I went to the beach with the family. We did a state park camping trip to Ocean Shores, and then I went and drove along the beach when I took the kids to go play on the beach. Outside of that, I got picked up from the beach by a listener, and we went and picked up an Xterra down in Vancouver, Washington. Um, Pretty nice.
Picked up by a listener.
Yeah. I'm weird.
Every podcast host's dream.
Yep. Listeners are picking me up. Hey, man, let's go pick up a rig. You can help me.
Tinder set off, and he's like, "Oh my god, I know Ben."
When he
Wipe.
came to pick you up, did he say, "You do not look like your picture"?
No. He was like, why is Bigfoot getting in my car? Or actually, his wife's car, to be exact. So I got to drive a Kia halfway home, and then we switched, and I got to drive a Xterra the rest of the way. Really comfortable rig. I've never driven an Xterra before. It's a second gen, and very utilitarian. There's like a lack of gauges, or not gauges, like miles per gallon and all that fancy stuff that I have in my Forerunner. It's like there's a lack of that, and I really like that. Even my Jeep said how many miles per gallon I was getting. So it was just like, here's your speedometer, here's your tach, and you've got a digital odometer, and that was pretty much it. So yeah,
If you push that odometer button, it changes to odometer B, and then it changes to your fuel economy, and then it changes to your range, and then it changes to how many hours you've been driving. You just have to push that button.
Which is
Oh,
very similar to the Jeep.
I pushed it like 3 times, and all I got was A and B for the odometer stuff.
My FJ doesn't have any of those options. Toyota was like, "No, we can't let these people know what kind of gas mileage they're getting."
That was probably purposeful, huh?
Yeah, no, they wouldn't have sold very many units.
But he bought an off-road, what is it, an 05 off-road, Xterra off-road. So it's got the rear locker. It came with a size above factory, almost brand new Terra grapplers, I think they are, the all-terrain ones. Which is
Ridge
like
Those will do.
grapplers?
ridge grapplers. There we go. So yeah, I really like those tires. They were pretty nice on the highway.
Those
Obviously,
are Nittos.
yes.
Yep.
So I don't know. I kind of like them. They were nice on the highway. I obviously didn't get to try them off road, but you
Well,
know.
here in like a year, he'll probably sell them to you.
Burn!
I'll be on 35s by then. I've actually, the wife drove the Forerunner, and one of my wheels,
One of your wheels fell off.
one of the weights fell off, and so it's a little unbalanced, and the steering wheel vibrates. And she's like, "What's wrong with your wheat steering wheel?" And I'm like, "Oh, my tires weird, and I need 35s now." So
Yeah,
she's
because that's going to get better with 35s.
yep,
Yeah.
well
I
balanced.
should try that. I should try that prio wheel weight off. Oh, honey, I don't know what's going on. It's time to
We
tighten the
better
swap.
upgrade.
Something's broken. Time to fix it. So I'm happy. She's on board with new wheels. So I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to.
New wheels and tires, or just new wheels?
I've got new wheels, so new tires too.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to do them before the Nevada trip, since I don't really need 35s. So I might get some balance speeds and try those out up front just um for
Just go to Les Schwab and have them balanced properly. And
Yeah, please.
yeah, it
For
You're
all of
having
our
vibrations.
sakes. We're
if
about
those
to go on a-
balance speeds, yeah, if those balance speeds don't work and you're driving for 10 hours.
well,
yeah,
no,
you'll
I
not
would
be
do
happy.
I would do that before I'd do that like this week.
It's just the
Bill.
front tires that feel out of balance.
Yeah.
Have you changed your inner and outer tie rods?
A while ago.
Okay. I would throw it on a jack and see if you have any play there. Just
Oh,
in
yeah,
case.
that's a good point. I probably should.
Those Toyotas do have a tendency to
Yeah, I've bent like 3 of them.
tie rods.
3 tie rods already in the last 3 years or 2 years.
It's those trees that just jump
3
out
tie
at you.
rods in the last 2 years.
Well, the ends.
Jiminy Christmas.
Well,
That's almost as bad as Jeep axles.
No, that's worse.
no, that is
Tie
the
rods are worse than the Jeep axles
No, the amount that he's breaking.
No,
versus broken axle. I just
I'm
that'd
not-
be like that's more engines than I've blown. Like you know what I mean? Like
no,
Well, Ben still has the number on that one.
the 120 series, their tie rods are notoriously thin.
So get different. Don't they sell aftermarket tie rods?
well, I'm guessing you got Vado Zone ones too.
No, I did not get
Do
auto.
they have a lifetime warranty?
I buy the Moog. I think I'm saying that right, but
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got Moog are the most recent ones I put on
and
both sides when I did my front
they're
end.
a little better.
Well, but it's not really about the quality of the tie rod. It's about the quality of the driver.
Yeah, that is a big factor.
And
I
the
think it's
trees
mostly
that
the angle
surprise you.
that they're on.
Well, also, I think the best thing Ben could do for his rig is to put lockers in it, because otherwise he has to bump over everything.
It's a good point. Oh, well, maybe that's next. Maybe. Actually,
No, it's not. It's not.
she wants to get a trailer now, and I told her I dropped the bombshell on her. Well, if you,
You
want
have a trailer.
she wants a camper trailer, not the pop top that we borrow from the parents. And I told her that if we want to get that, I need to re-gear, and that will cost about $2,000.
You need to get a pop
you-
like mine.
I thought you bought a pickup truck trailer.
Well, yeah, she wants a camper, like with a bathroom and all that fun
With
jazz.
the bathroom. So this
Not
isn't like a
tow-
wheeling camper.
No,
You're not towing that with the Forerunner if it's got a bathroom.
Yeah.
So she was looking at one. It was like 2,000 pounds. It was a light. Maybe it didn't have a bathroom. I don't know.
My let's see, I have a 12-foot long pop-up trailer, and the actual pop-up part's only 8, and it's like 1,800 pounds. So
Yeah.
that's pretty insanely light if it had a bathroom. 2,000.
Yeah. Well, that's
Anyways,
good hearing what everybody's been up to.
Yep.
Hey guys, we're looking to reach more listeners. We're going to start reading Apple iTunes reviews on air. If you hear yours, send us a message with your address, and we'll send you an Off-Road Podcast sticker. You can find all of our social media by just searching our name. Now, go hit that subscribe button.
We got a contest going on right now, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. What are we giving away, Ben?
So we are giving away the UFO light from CVT Tents. I bet you Aaron can describe that better than I can, because I'm still terrible. I've had a couple people ask me about it, and I broke it down what it had. Aaron?
Aaron, what's the features?
It has a Bluetooth radio. It comes with a stand. It has disconnectable LED lights. Doesn't it also have some solar
Oh,
going
you're
on with it?
It does. And how many of those disconnectable solar or disconnectable LED lights does it have?
I'm pretty sure it was 4.
Oh, it's 3. Womp womp.
Ah,
You're not our
I
winner
was-
this week.
that must be the next model that they're coming out with that I didn't tell you about that they're working on.
Oh yeah, totally. So how can they win that?
They need to go to our Facebook page and check out our link to Gleam. And it's also in the show notes. You could go to our show notes as well, but just head over to our Facebook page, give us a like, go through that Gleam, and you just follow the instructions in Gleam. And there's also a special code that we're going to give out later in this episode, a weekly code every time you listen to the podcast. And it's also only available when you listen live here on the radio or watch us on our YouTube page to get this fancy code. So you won't hear it when you're listening to this episode later on after you've downloaded it a week and a half later. So make sure you check us out live or check us out on YouTube for this special weekly code.
Yeah, and it's not like we're gonna make that code be in there very. You have to be listening very closely for it. We're gonna actually tell you when it's happening and be very clear about it. All you need to do is just switch over to watching the stream on YouTube. You don't even need to be watching it. You can just go ahead and listen to the audio there. But that would help us out, and it would give you an extra chance to win that light.
And every weekly code is different. That's the other thing you need to know. So this week's code is different than last week's code or the week before that.
Rick says the radio is breaking up really bad.
My internet connection got funky there for a second.
Tell them to
as it
switch to FM.
There you go.
Or just switch to the YouTube.
So,
No,
like,
it was my internet connection. It got all weird. You guys all froze, but can continued talking, so it should be all good now.
Righty.
Cool.
Well, don't forget to check out Patriot Patch and their great selection of patches and shirts. Well, they haven't done shirts. I'm sorry.
No,
in a
they're
while.
they're doing shirts. You just have to order them on their Amazon store, I believe.
Oh, gotta go to the Amazon to get the shirts. And don't forget the patch of the month, $15 a month, and you receive a patch and matching sticker and the artist's proof. I just got mine the other day because I haven't checked my mailbox for a while. The Tree of Liberty.
Oh yeah, I forgot that one came in.
You guys,
Yep, I got mine. It's it's on the patch of it's in the ceiling of my Toyota Avalon.
So if you're watching the stream on YouTube, you can actually see the patch. I'm holding it up right now.
I have to say that patch is like super cool and manly. It's like raining blood and stuff.
Yes.
And I've been I know you guys are super Patriot Patch, but is it just me or have they have some of the nerdist patch in that is made?
they
Combine Pokemon, Back to the Future, and Star Wars. Like that is like triple nerd.
Where's the Back to the Future?
There was a DeLorean one too. Yeah, it's probably in your other hand.
No, I
Okay.
don't have that one.
I'm
I
just
don't know
saying
about a DeLorean one.
they didn't make a DeLorean one.
Well,
I don't
it
think
could have
so.
been one of the special releases.
Oh,
Yeah, they did have a special release one that had like a DeLorean. I can't remember exactly what it had.
I thought it was like a Char.
They had a Charmandalorian.
Oh, Mandalorian. Oh, the more
Not-
Star Wars stuff. Okay, never mind. I thought it was,
that's Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
DeLorean, Mandalorian.
I like eat steak and enjoy women and stuff in my off time, so I'm not super up to all the Star Wars stuff.
Wow.
Calling out Patriot Patch. Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying, like we could just do like tanks and cool stuff instead of Pokemon.
He has tanks and cool stuff.
No, I have a bunch of their patches, but
they just came out with a Flugaloo patch, Unfortunately, it's on back order.
Oh, I want that one.
Yeah, so it's got some suppressed sidearms and rifle, helmet with nods, and a full gas mask, ammo can, and a roll of TP.
Everything you
Nice.
need.
I missed they had like a snowman firing like snowballs out of this red I don't know what, like APC thing, which I didn't get, which I wanted, but never happened.
I think that was a patch of the month.
Yeah, it was a patch of them.
Yeah.
Gotta sign up.
They also just released their different grenade patches. These ones are food related. The barbecue sauce, ketchup, hidden ranch, and blinding heat hot
Yeah,
sauce.
I haven't seen that because I have the pumpkin spice smoke bomb.
Yeah, it's kind of playing off of that pumpkin spice style.
I'd get those.
Tasty.
I told them they needed to do a barking spider grenade. I don't know if they'll do that one or not.
So Ben, Rick says that his trailer has a bathroom, a bucket.
Well, I'm not fighting with my wife anymore on this. We have a bucket with her own pink bathroom, and she loves it. And she just wants a trailer that's not the other trailer. So I don't know.
I'm just gonna call it right now. Ben is almost done four-wheeling forever.
Yep.
Not happening.
You know, if you got a full size and then a really big toy hauler, you could park like a Willys Jeep in the back of it instead of four-wheelers
Yeah, that's
Like a Mahindra Roxor.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like those.
He's
Well,
halfway tempted.
Yeah, halfway tempted.
He's gonna have to buy a bro truck.
News
to
is
tow
brought
it.
to you by Power Tank, the ultimate mobile onboard air system for performance, versatility, and reliability. They are your source for all air-related accessories. Check them out at powertank.com.
Well, our news this week is Jalopnik dropped a story, and I've seen a few other places dropping it. Jeep decided to get in on that action and try and drown out the Hemi, or I'm sorry, tried to drown out the Bronco with the Hemi. Jeep announced that they are going to do a factory V8 powered Jeep Wrangler with the Hemi. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I think they're actually just trying to drown out AEV because there were a lot of people, my Jeep included, that just went to AEV and paid them tens of thousands of dollars to put a Hemi in.
Yeah, why not pay Jeep that money? You know.
Well,
They really are bending over AV because they already, the AV Brute was the Jeep pickup, and then led that out from underneath them, and it looks almost identical. And now they're pulling the V8. Like, I'm pretty sure Dodge is going to come out with their own Prospector any day now. Like, slowly just easing away all their products.
I know.
Yeah.
I think you're right there. I think I think somebody at AEV pissed off somebody at a Fiat Chrysler, and they're just trying to undercut their market.
So they haven't said that this is a go. They say that it is a concept, but they did say it's an indication that the Wrangler fans who've been wanting a V8 model may soon get their wish. So to me, it sounds like it's a go, but they aren't saying that it's a go.
Yeah.
For Jeep to say that a V8 Wrangler is a concept, I feel like is a slap in the face to actual concepts. Since AV's been making these for years, like it's not exactly a concept.
Well, so there's some other things about this. They call it the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. The 392 is referring to the 6.4 liter Hemi V8, 450 horsepower, 450 foot-pounds of torque. That's pretty good. But so some other details about this is that it also has, this part is what helps make it the concept. 2-inch lift kit, 37-inch tires, unique paint, and a 2-mode exhaust system that can turn up the volume on command.
I'm more curious what the axles are. They just the same?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Are they still Dana 44s? Because
Power for Dana 44s.
I wouldn't go with 37s on a 44 if you're actually going to wheel it. If you're going to, wheel it to the mall and Forest Service roads.
Yeah, but it's
By all means.
37s and 400 horsepower. So it's like 37
True.
normally would be like, yeah, you're pushing it, buddy. And then like, oh, and just we added 150 horsepower.
Yeah, that's fair point. Fair point.
Yeah, hopefully it's not like the Gladiator axles and it just breaks in half.
Have the Gladiator axles been breaking? I haven't heard that.
Yeah, they've got like a 2-part axle thing, and it's the actual housing has been breaking in half, like folding.
Like the front axle.
Yeah.
So I know the JLs do that as well.
So
Yeah,
the,
I've seen a handful of pictures of like Jeep's front ends breaking, and it was on the Jeep trucks because it was guys who went to like 40s or something like that.
so the front axles have been folding like the Z71 frames. That fair to say?
Well, did they go to 40s on the stock axles? Because that's your own dang fault.
Yeah. Mm,
You'll have to find that and let us know.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can.
Yeah, I feel like if you're running 40s and you fold a stock axle, like that's pretty good. Like that says something for the stock axle that it actually ran on a 40 for a while. But if they're doing that on stock tires, then that's pretty disappointing.
Yeah, it was just a couple of pictures I saw, and it's the axles literally just. Oh, I had to turn off video because my connection's gone crappy again. But it's been like Ving, where it cambers it. I can't find it. Oh my goodness.
I think if you went to 40s on a stock Jeep axle, that would be the ultimate. Boom! Ball rated.
Did you just go handy corn for a second there?
I did just
Oh,
go
yeah.
handy corn there for
Yeah.
a second.
Well, he did.
I noticed that. Yeah.
He did get the official Handycorn stamp of approval.
Yeah,
So-
I'm like the official Elvis impersonators. I am an official handy corn impersonator.
Yep.
Luckily, you're around like the 4 guys that know what handy corn sounds like. But I mean, I'm sure you're popular at parties.
Hey,
Yeah.
how do you think my wife and I met?
Not that kind of handy corn.
Well, that's the only news article we have. The other news that we're going to talk about is what just released an hour and a half ago from Ford, and that's the reveal of the new.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
Sorry, I feel like a jerk just cutting you off like that.
Yeah. It's
Now
all right.
everybody thinks that Ford released a Warren winch.
It would have made their release better.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty excited about the release. So we want to just go right into the release video and talk about it afterwards.
Yes.
All
As
right,
Brett pulls it up.
I'm gonna get it shared onto the screen.
Are we talking over the video?
I don't see why not.
Oh,
Hey,
I
can
didn't know.
somebody check the YouTube stream and make sure it's like up there?
I didn't know if the
I'm-
sound video is
there-
going to be cutting our voice.
I don't even hear sound.
I'm not getting sound either, but
You're not getting sound? Shoot.
No.
Well, we probably should have figured
Probably
this out sooner.
So they're showing some.
Ben,
are we
you might
talking
need
over the
to-
video?
wow, I don't see why not.
Oh,
Hey,
I
can
didn't know,
somebody check the YouTube stream and make sure it's like up there? Ben,
didn't know if the
cancel your
sound
YouTube
video is
stream.
cutting our voice.
I don't
I
have.
don't even hear sound.
I'm not getting sound either, but
You're not getting sound? Shoot.
No.
Well, we probably should have figured
Probably
this out sooner.
did you guys realize it just replayed everything we said for like
So
last minute?
they're showing some.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
fun.
Are we
you
talking
might-
over the video?
Wow.
Doing
See
it
why not.
again.
Hey,
glad
can
I
somebody
know.
check the YouTube stream and make sure it's like
Oh no, not again.
Full Groundhog's
Cancel your
Day right now.
video.
Cutting our
Moving on.
I don't even hear sound.
Somebody has the YouTube stream.
like
not
that
getting
Tom
sound.
Cruise movie.
Like Ben, do you have the
You
YouTube
die.
stream open?
Probably
It's out sooner.
Did you guys realize it just replayed everything we said for like?
Oh my
last
God.
We tried.
Wow.
Doing
Why
it
not?
again.
Hey,
Glad
can
I
somebody
know.
check the YouTube stream and make sure it's like
Oh no, not again.
Full Groundhog's Day right now. Cutting our.
Moving on.
I don't
I believe
hear
it's
sound.
Koi.
somebody has the YouTube stream.
like
not
that
getting-
Tom
what the
Cruise
heck is
movie.
happening? Have the YouTube
die.
stream open?
Probably
It's out sooner.
Oh my goodness.
Did you guys realize it just replayed everything we?
All right. It was
I think it was Koi.
Is it Koi?
I think it
Is
was
it
Koi.
Andy?
I muted
Andy's-
Koi.
Full
Yeah, you're
Day right now.
Yep,
It's Koi.
It is.
All right, Koi's muted for a while.
oh my
Put Koi in the corner.
Yeah, put Koi in the corner.
All right.
Wow.
You want me to try and pull up the YouTube video?
The
Yeah,
YouTube video was showing it. I checked it.
it just wasn't playing the audio.
Yeah.
It
okay.
wasn't playing the audio.
All right. Let's see.
Gotta love all the behind the scenes stuff that people get to see.
When
Or,
we're hot and live.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna unmute Koi and see if he's stopped
If he's-
repeating us.
talking the 10-minute one, right? Try and pull up
I
the YouTube
feel
video.
like that wasn't me.
The
Yeah.
YouTube video was showing it.
Wasn't.
I think it's still doing it.
I think it is still doing it.
Hmm.
Oh, Koi, now I can't unmute you. I have to ask to unmute you.
I am unmuted, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
now unmute Koi. Yeah, I can still hear it on. You're still looping back for some reason.
Koi, do you guys have the YouTube video playing on your screen somewhere? Do you guys have us pulled up on
Video
YouTube?
playing on the screen somewhere. No,
I don't
Okay.
hear it now though.
It stopped looping back. So
it's
that's
been
a good
doing it the
sign.
entire time till just now for me.
All right. That was weird. Jeremy, can you
Yep.
allow me to
Oh yeah,
screen share?
yeah. I don't see a request for you to screen share.
It says that host disabled it.
Hmm.
You'll just have to forgive us. I'm sorry.
Yep. Sorry about that, guys.
That was awesome. I thought. So. If we'd have timed it right, we could have sang like a round song, you know?
Row, row, row your boat.
Exactly.
There.
Oh, okay, try now.
Zones.
All right, and that is going to go. All right.
Maps that map makers haven't gotten to yet. Places where cell service and calendar reminders don't exist. But you have to get out there and look for it.
Ooh, horses.
And to look for it, you need something that's just as wild as the wild. You need something that can look adventure in the eye and give it a firm handshake. Something built with the toughness of an F-Series and the spirit of a Mustang. Something that's not happy until it takes you through whatever creek or snow or mud or mountain trail or dune or logging road or landmark with death in its name. You need a Bronco. Built as wild as what you're looking for.
So how excited are you guys about the sport?
Meh.
I've changed my tune on the sport after watching this. They've got a lot of stuff that they've done to it.
Yeah, I really like that twin clutch rear diff thing they got going on. Like, because the front wheel drive.
I like how they added a tread lightly message.
On
in there.
August 11th, 1965, Ford Motor Company introduced the world to the Ford Bronco, America's first SUV.
Bronco, blazing a new trail of excitement.
A vehicle that reshaped the 4x4 landscape forever. And today, it's going to do it again. And this time, it's not just one horse. It's a whole family. Introducing the all-new Bronco two-door. Built to take on the toughest terrain you can find. And the new Bronco four-door. Built to give you the most open-air experience.
That's the one I'm buying.
Bronco Sport. Built to truly
That one is sweet.
the great outdoors. Introducing
That's the one Ben's buying.
The Sport.
future in mind.
So you
Built to
can tow
take
his
a
trailer.
back into the wild. Built to be bigger than just the vehicles themselves. Built with the toughness of an F-Series and the spirit of a Mustang. Built to be the future of off-roading. A family of vehicles that are all built wild.
I want to know where they filmed. I'd go drive there any day.
I didn't see any of them with snorkels though, so I don't think Ben's gonna be able to get one.
Have the kinds of adventures you want while you're there and get back again, because it went through Built Wild extreme durability testing. We took the Built Ford Tough testing platform and then pushed it into the toughest terrains across the United States. And to get through that rigorous testing, you
I like
need
how they drove through like a greenhouse.
you need to have capability, durability, and the most innovative.
Greenhouses are hot.
So we gave it just that.
And muddy, apparently.
Every Bronco vehicle 4x4 standard across the whole family. No other American brand can say that. And the two-door and four-door have an available best-in-class maximum ground clearance for when you're taking on the wild. Bronco rewrites the record books with an available best-in-class maximum breakover angle, departure angle, and crawl ratio, and available 35-inch tires on every series right out of the factory. No other vehicle in its class can say that. And the Bronco Sport also has an available ground clearance that is better than key competitors, allowing for better approach angles and water weighting.
There you go, Ben.
Your tires should work smarter and harder. So we use the most innovative tech to offer the Bronco two-door and four-door available front and rear locking differentials, so they can lock the Dana axles, sending traction to four wheels instead of two. And we gave the Bronco Sport an available twin-clutch rear drive unit with a rear differential lock feature, allowing for greater off-road performance. And for when the wild really gets rough, we gave the Bronco two-door and four-door an available hydraulic stabilizer bar disconnect system. So as you encounter the tough types of terrains that make the wild fun, you can flex and crawl over any and all obstacles. And on Bronco, you can activate this even while under load, and it will use smart technology to automatically reconnect after you've conquered whatever obstacle you were taking on.
Sounds expensive.
And
to
all
fix.
Broncos come standard with terrain management systems with up to 7 available GOAT modes. So whether you're going through snow or rocks or dirt, or sand or mud or water, the Bronco has you covered at the click of a dial. And that's just the beginning. Because it's more than just capable. It's capable with lots of power. Because Bronco two-door and four-door have an available EcoBoost engine projected to produce over 300 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. And with first-to-market available 10-speed automatic transmission or 7-speed manual, you can keep all that horsepower and torque in its power band. And the Bronco Sport is targeting unparalleled power with 245 horsepower and 275 pound-feet of torque. Plus, Bronco has best-in-class available suspension travel because the Bronco family has a Haas system The 2 and 4-door go a step further, offering an optional Haas system with Bilstein position-sensitive dampers, similar to the trophy trucks that race
Sticking with the horse theme there with the suspension.
at King of the Hammers. This new Haas suspension system is key to the high-performance off-road prowess of the Bronco, using modern independent front suspension to keep you riding smooth at higher speeds than you could with a solid front axle. You can enjoy the great outdoors to its fullest, with doors and a roof that you can take off, and store 4 doors in the vehicle on the Bronco 4-door. With max open air experience, because there's no beam in the middle to block your view. And with body mounted mirrors, you can enjoy the doors off experience without losing sight of what's behind you.
And those
like
mirrors
that's a
fold
shot at
too,
Gene.
Jeremy.
Feeling of open air whenever and wherever you want, because they can be put back on just as quickly and easily. Capability and speed are important, but so is staying connected. So the Bronco family is built with technology and convenient interior displays, including an available 12-inch screen on Bronco 2-door and 4-door, and an 8-inch screen on Bronco Sport. Built with the heritage of more than 55 years of off-roading, combined with modern technological advancements. Like available trail maps that can be downloaded right to the Ford Pass Performance app with off-road navigation and seamlessly integrated with your Bronco. Trail maps that allow you to not just find a new trail, but document all the details of that new trail. And once you've completed it, you can share it with whoever you want. The future of off-roading means more visibility. It means seeing everything you need to see and everything your tires are up against at all times. With the class exclusive available 360-degree camera with off-road spotter views on Bronco 2-door and 4-door. The Bronco Sport is ready for whatever adventure you decide to take on, because it was built for that. Built with a cargo management system that allows for not just a lot of cargo space, but the smartest use of cargo space. With class exclusive hidden storage under the second row and class exclusive available molly straps on the back of the seats, just for a little extra gear. And an available slide out table to prep all that gear before heading on your next big adventure. Plus, more than 200 factory-backed aftermarket accessories on Bronco and over 100 on Bronco Sport. And those numbers are only going up. Not to mention available accessories that are orderable from the factory, like rock rails on 2-door and 4-door, an interior bike rack on Bronco Sport, and roof racks on all Broncos. The Bronco family is built for all the things that make the wild worth getting back to. With the built wild capability to take on any type of terrain, the speed to take you over more of it, and the tools to take on adventures while you're there. You need a Bronco. The all-new Bronco family, built as wild as what you're looking for.
One thing that got me so excited when I watched that video, when it was talking about the 200 plus accessories for the regular Bronco, was those, I don't want to call them half doors, but they were like cutout doors where the whole center section was see-through center section doors. Yeah, I saw that and had to pause and look at it for quite a while.
Yeah,
It looked like it even had like a rock light integrated into it to shine to the ground.
So something I thought of with this is, with what they're doing for factory accessories, do you know what it's doing to the aftermarket?
I'm wondering
I-
if they're going to do the Jeep thing from the JL and try to keep more of that in house,
That's what I'm thinking. Is it's kind of cutting out the middleman
which
aftermarket.
personally I think that's a bad business move, because you, especially in this first integration or iteration, you want to get people to adopt it, and the best thing to do that would be to get as many parts out there as possible.
So the one thing I noticed the hood has like those handles and those ridges down the hood, but you see how they have like handles on the hood?
That's going to be for stuntmen for the movies and stuff.
I was wondering about that. What do you think the chances are that this is a flip forward hood? And that's
Huh.
Huh.
I just had that thought. It's probably unlikely, but how cool would that be?
That
Now-
would be super cool.
Something that kind of caught my mind was like the hydraulic assisted sway bar thing. Can you imagine how expensive that's going to be if it breaks? I mean, the electronic disconnect on the Jeeps that breaks, that's what, $500.
That's why there's an aftermarket world.
The thing I didn't like, while we're on the topic of the front sway bar disconnect, I didn't like that it auto reconnects.
I was wondering about that. Do you shut the vehicle off or just it waits 30 seconds and reconnects?
I kind of
It
feel
said
like
it said that it's smart though. It said that it's an intelligent thing.
so I think it has to take a look at what the wheels are doing, and then when you get back to flat ground, it says, okay, you don't need the sway bar disconnected anymore, so we're just going to reconnect it for you.
Yeah, I wonder about that too. But there may be a setting inside the computer that says never auto reconnect.
I would hope so.
Here's my one thing that I noticed in the first kind of teaser video. Remember the like skid steer thing they were doing?
Mm-hmm.
They never showed that on this video or said a word about it.
That's a good point.
But if you watch real close, because I've watched this video like 7 times, when there's the row of all the different options you push that's in the dash, one of those has like looks like a 4-wheel drive emblem, but then beside it has an arrow turning. So
Yes.
It right there.
maybe
They also talk about it on the website. So you can look at the 2021 Ford Bronco model details and specs, and it is on there. Let me tell you what it's called. It's called Trail Turn Assist, TTA.
my other thing I was wondering, they never showed a manual in this video.
They do have the manual, so it's either a 10-speed auto or a 7-speed manual.
Well, they said that, but they never showed it, and I'm
Oh.
wondering if the manual,
Oh, if it's
you
flappy
can't get
paddles.
all that electronic assist on the manual. I wonder.
So I did read on their website that certain things are only available with the 10-speed auto. I can't remember which ones they were, but only certain things are available with the 10-speed auto.
Hmm. That'll be interesting to see what. Because I mean, of course, people, if it has a granny low, I feel like even the guys like me that are kind of hardcore automatic guys for off-roading, I'm like, well, if it's got a granny low, then I'm switching back over to manual. But I'm wondering how many of the cool electronic stuff then is
That you
negated.
lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's run through this list that we got here. It's pretty comprehensive of the information that we got from the website and from the video, and also just some information that we've known before. But we'll just start with the engine here. So the top of the line current engine that they show is the 2.7 liter twin turbo EcoBoost, 310 horsepower, 400 foot-pounds of torque. Is that enough?
Got to get a Hemi.
That's a lot of power in my book.
A lot of power from factory. I'm not disappointed.
Like
And
it's
a lot of
power
torque.
that I'm like, how exactly more powerful will the Raptor Warhog version be? And like, if that's at 400, that's only 100 more, which isn't as much as you would think. A Raptor would be
Yeah.
only 25% more.
Raptor.
I heard it's going to be called the Warhog.
Really? Where did
I-
you? Secret sources?
Yeah, I know, guy. No, there's a yeah, it's an insider thing that made its way out. I don't know if it's true.
Okay. One thing I thought was interesting is that the EcoBoost runs on regular fuel. You don't have to have premium to make it work.
That's nice considering like when Jeremy had his supercharged Tacoma, he had to have premium fuel, and I mean that adds up. If you've got a car payment, and I imagine that most people would probably have a car payment when they buy a brand new Bronco, having to pay the extra premium for the gas is what's that, 10-20 cents generally?
Honestly, I don't think it really amounts to much.
It
what's the only-
doesn't. There's been some studies that have proven that it's not that much.
But
Yeah.
I'm honestly super excited about it being taking regular fuel, because that means once aftermarket breaks the ECU code and then you get a super tune for it, you'll have another
Mhm.
horsepower.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing that I like about, so one of the things that I hated about my Tacoma only running premium, which is part of the reason I was really happy that my Wrangler had the 5.7 V8 versus the 6.4. The 6.4 needs premium, the 5.7 doesn't. It's just when you're out in podunk towns, it's hard to track down premium sometimes.
Yep. That was the main reason why I threw that note in there about running on regular. Or if you ran out of fuel and your buddy's got a jerry can,
Right.
you don't have to worry about it not being premium.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. As we mentioned, 10-speed auto, 7-speed manual. Class leading. It said this in the video. Class leading ground clearance, 11.6 inches. Class leading approach angle, 43.3. Departure,
Let's go back.
37.2.
Let's go back to the ground clearance. So
Yeah.
the stock JL Rubicon has 10.8 on the ground
10.8.
clearance.
Well,
So
did
it's
you
got
see
just
what
over a half inch more?
did you see
Yep.
what the class was for? If you watch the subtitles, the class was medium traditional class of vehicle, whatever that means.
I saw that and I wasn't sure, and I haven't Googled what vehicles are in the medium traditional SUV class.
Probably like Subaru Crosstracks and what?
Well,
for-
clearly
I
it's
think
beats
class
the Wrangler.
that would be the sport, would be that's where the Crosstrek and all that would be, that more mid-size
yeah, crossover type
crossover.
SUV. Yep. For our purposes, we're mostly talking about the 2 and the 4-door, obviously, because we don't care as much about the sport, although it is kind of a cool addition to the exclusively overland market for sure. But we're comparing the 2-door Bronco to a 2-door JL Wrangler.
I'm sorry though, I got to jump in. You are not going to make fun of the Bronco sport guys if they're overlanding them out. Like if
No, I don't.
you see them, you're gonna be like, oh my god, look at this guy in his Bronco sport with his.
No, I was actually impressed by what the Bronco Sport had to offer.
It doesn't have a low range though. Like,
Well, let's put it this way: I'll make fun of them less than the guys that are out there in the Subaru Crosstracks doing the overland thing, all overlanded out.
I think I actually have more respect for the Subaru guy, because like these guys could have got a real Bronco, but they didn't, and these guys have a used Subaru. Like
none of them are running a Pontiac. What's it called?
Aztec.
Aztec.
So is it
Eric.
going to be kind of like the Trailhawk?
I think it is, honestly.
I mean,
I can see that.
personally, I would never go with the sport. But I'm not gonna,
But you might get one for your wife.
Yeah, and I'm into the into the rock crawling thing and all that. So there's no way I could do that with the sport. So yeah, I'm gonna make fun of them for if they think they're gonna get into the rock crawling game. But if they're just out there doing Forest Service roads, doing like the BDRs or something like that, like I have no hate for those guys because they know what they wanted, they got what they needed, and are gonna run a pretty cool vehicle in my opinion. But would I buy the sport for my wife? Yes. For me, no.
Yeah.
First time I see one buried on the beach, I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you.
Oh, absolutely. No.
Please do.
Yeah. So we talked about the ground clearance. Why don't we go into approach, departure, and breakover? So
Yeah.
Aaron, go ahead and give the Bronco specs.
The approach is 43.3. Now I should say this is all on the 2-door.
Okay. Yep.
For
I'm
approach,
on a,
departure, and breakover.
I'm on a 2-door. So you said what? 44.3 on approach.
43.3.
Okay. So the approach on the Rubicon is a 44.
Interesting.
So did they just
44
go
even.
through and just be better by half an inch on the Rubicon by everything? Like, is that they just designed it off of that?
Well, this one, the Jeep is actually better, even though they say class leading. So I'm not sure how that works.
So
Yeah.
does yours specify tire size? Well, I
This
guess we're
was,
going
I
Rubicon.
believe, this was with the 35s, I believe.
Okay, so this one's 33s essentially. It's metric, so it's 285. So it's like 32 and a half or whatever.
Yeah. So if it was apples to apples, the Jeep would have even more. It currently has 3/4 of an inch. If it had 35s, it'd have an inch and 3/4 more.
Yeah. So okay. So go back to the ground clearance. So it's 10 point. Yours was 11.6.
Yeah.
So if you added an inch, my Jeep would have more.
Correct. Yep. Well, but it would be broken because the axles wouldn't work.
On 35s? Sure they would.
I like how you started to defend yourself, and then, of course,
The departure angle on the 2-door 37.2. What do you got on the JL?
Ooh, 37. But that's on 33s versus 35s.
Yep. And then the breakover is 29.1.
Okay, so the breakover probably definitely has it. It's 27.8. I don't know if you could make that up with the 35s.
would depend on
It would be
wheelbase,
close.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're obviously going to be very comparable. They made it seem like the Bronco was just trouncing everybody, but I think it's probably a comparable vehicle.
What is
Well,
the
I did.
on the Jeep? How many inches? Do you know have that up there?
Yeah, it's on my other one. Let's see.
I didn't feel like they were trouncing it. I felt like they were just saying that they were class leading in all these things. So maybe when you add all those numbers up together, it beats it. I don't know. I'm not sure how they say class leading when the approach is less. I guess the departure and breakover were more. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right?
Well, if you listen to the ad, because I've also watched it like 4 or 5 times, they talk about the breakover angle being the leading in the class is really kind of how it sold it.
Oh,
So
really?
The
missed
wheelbase
that.
on the Jeep is 96.8.
So it's 100 on the Bronco.
So it any way you cut it, it does have better breakover angle, even over the Rubicon.
Yep.
Do they give a
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Aaron.
go ahead. Do they give a water fording depth for the JL? I thought that was really interesting because most rigs don't give water fording. That seems like a Land Rover thing.
I think Toyota usually does.
And a Land Rover and a Toyota thing. Okay.
And okay, so that
does too.
The Jeep says 30 inches.
Which
okay,
is
so what I'm seeing is 30 inches is what the Jeep says the Wrangler can safely ford. Recently, though, they changed this to 19 inches as a safe fording depth.
Oh no, that's the wrong way
Somebody
to go.
want a lawsuit.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yep. So this is 34.5 inches of water fording. So just shy of 3 feet of water.
I mean, that's to the top of the tires on that Bronco.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yep.
into the door pretty good. So that's impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we've already mentioned it, factory 35s. That's pretty rad.
As an option, right?
Did we touch on the RTI score?
No, I was going to jump back to that. I only went to the factory 35s just because you'd mentioned that it was the tire height. So
Okay.
yeah, as an option, but there's like, I can't remember, there's 5 or 6 different Jeep packages, and some of the packages come with the 35. So it's not technically an option if it's part of the package.
Say what now?
So like if you order the Bronco Wild Track with the Sasquatch package, it comes with 35s. Maybe I'm thinking about that all wrong. I'm not sure.
They seriously have a Sasquatch package?
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Have you noticed they're really going animal themed on this? We have the Haas suspension.
yeah.
It's a Bronco. It has the goat terrain stuff. You get a Sasquatch package.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Sasquatch,
I don't know what you're talking about.
So Rick has a couple comments. He wants to know the horsepower versus weight.
Can't give that to him. There's no weight listed anywhere for it.
Okay, sorry, Rick, can't do that one. And he also says his JL reconnects the sway bar when he gets up to a certain speed.
what's
Okay.
those two?
Yeah, and then yeah, and he wants to know what's in the class and what isn't in the class, which I don't think we can figure that out.
I tried Googling that. I Googled because it's called the medium traditional SUV class, and I could not find a definition for that. So I'm not sure.
Does any of you guys really? Can you understand RTI scores? Because I have no clue what they mean.
I'm pretty sure it's magic.
I mean, I know what I understand what the RTI ramp and stuff is, but I have no idea how that's scored.
So it's based upon a couple things I can't remember exactly. But it's how far up you get off, and it involves your
I can
wheelbase.
So it involves the angle of the ramp, your wheelbase, and how far you go.
Wait, so the ramp isn't at a set angle on those? I thought that was the whole thing. Is the ramp was always at a set angle?
There's multiple angles that an RTI can be set at, and so you have to factor in what angle your RTI is.
So RTI scores is an equation of 3 different numbers that I will never understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Like
that's
that,
all
yeah.
I needed to know.
Yep.
But I tell you what, you come to the off-road car show, and if we have one this fall, because COVID, we can get your RTI score.
I did a RTI ramp one time, but
What was your
nobody gave me
score?
I have no idea. I didn't ask.
Oh,
I just asked if I beat the other FJs. Like I just want to know.
That's all that mattered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has an RTI score of 610. So the standard RTI ramp is a 20 degree. And so to find your score, it's just it's the distance that you traveled divided by your wheelbase, and then multiply that by 1,000.
And do you only go forwards on this, or can you, like with independent suspension, if you back onto one, obviously you can highly increase your score. But
yes, most of the time it's driving forward.
So
Yeah.
I Googled just JL. I got the Gladiator for some reason, and the Gladiator got a 623 on the RTI, which you look at it's
so you want to higher or lower good?
higher.
Higher is better.
Higher's gooder.
More gooder, gooderist.
More gooderist. Yep. Well, so that's really good that it's close to the Gladiator, because the Gladiator's got a longer frame that's going to twist a little, and that's solid axles front and rear, which really let you flex. The IFS doesn't let you flex nearly as much as a solid axle up front.
As Ben found out when he got outflexed by a Subaru.
Yep.
Yes.
So here we go. The JL Rubicon Unlimited is 523 with the sway bar connected. Disconnected, it's 718.
Oh wow.
Who goes up an RTI with your sway bar connected if you have an option?
I think
I want to know who goes up them with sway bars.
No, I went without a sway bar.
Yeah, I need to remove my rear sway bar.
I haven't done the RTI with the anti-rock yet.
Well, let's move on to the GOAT. Let's talk about the GOAT. What does GOAT stand for?
So, according to the video, it's go over all terrain
types of terrain.
All types of terrain. And so we were talking before the show that it should be GOAT. I've seen it other places where it's just go over all types or all terrains. which
That's
sounds better.
It's way simpler.
Yeah.
The video probably just wanted to make it bigger and make more sense to people instead of here's a breakdown of what it means.
I have curious stuff. I get the snow mode, the rock, and mud, sand, Baja, water. Why do you think we have a water mode? Does it seal up some intakes or?
Yeah, closes the intake completely. It's airtight.
Yeah, does it, like when you're in the submarine, you're preparing to dive. They
Yeah.
start closing everything up, and
My LMTV has a forwarding mode that you have to flip a button, and what it does is it shuts off the clutch to the fan so that the fan won't spin in
Oh.
water and blow the fan to pieces.
oh, I thought
Totally.
that's how you got your forward thrust.
That it's a propeller, not a fan at that point. That's actually probably what it is. That's a good point.
That could be an option along with it might oh my goodness, it like boulders and rivers, or not boulders, how rocks will slip out and roll around. I don't go in the river very often, so.
Because when you do, you kill engines.
And yeah, water's dangerous. Slippery. I'm guessing that's for just slippery roads.
I'm guessing like ice kind of settings, but maybe they called it slippery so that it would cover more things other than ice, because snow doesn't cover ice very well.
Well, so the slippery one could help you. I mean, depending on how it works, it could help you with rock crawling when it's really slick out, because it's very easy to just slip off your line and just like really bash your oil pan if you're not careful.
I'm gonna bet slippery means like hard packed snow, like snow on the road.
Probably.
I would put
I
my
feel like
money
that
on
too. Yeah. So that's the only kind of weird one is slippery to me, but I feel like ice is different than snow, so that's why they had two different modes.
So what do you think the Baja version, or what settings do you think Baja's doing?
What does Baja do?
Your sway bar's disconnected. That way, while you're going over whoops and stuff, it doesn't reconnect them suddenly.
That could be bad.
Are the shocks electronic? I know there's the Haas system and stuff, but I wonder if these goat modes are actually tied into the suspension as well.
It probably
Well,
is.
so
Change valve.
there is a as part of the Sasquatch package, you get the Bilstein position sensitive dampers that they were talking about, and that's where they were talking about it is like quote unquote Baja and Ultra 4 rigs where they're IFS up front. So they must have some sort of sensors to know where in the stroke you are, up or down, for some sort of information that talks to the computer and maybe adjusts the valving or something.
Well, I'm curious if it's actually computerized or if they're just getting fancy with the shock may just be valved different and just be purely mechanical.
Well, it says sensors though. Well, I guess it doesn't say sensors. It says position sensitive.
Yeah, that's why I wondered
Yeah.
if it's halfway stroke, a valve opens up more, which I
Yeah.
kind of honestly hope it is that way a little bit, because that's more room for aftermarket to jump in if they're not trying to sort out some kind of electronic sensing suspension.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And Aaron, I think you said the Sasquatch package.
Uh-huh.
I think you meant the Haas.
No, so the Sasquatch package comes with those specific Bilstein dampers.
It comes with the Haas
Because-
suspension.
Oh,
The the optional Haas suspension, which has the Bilstein dampers in it. Yeah, so
I see.
you have to spec those out. I don't think that they're an option. I don't think they're a standard item.
I hope there's some option that they work UFO in, so then like when you go to order this, like, I want the big package with the UFO interior and the Haas, and like you just sound like a homeless crazy person trying to order a Bronco.
With the unicorn and the
I'm
narwhal.
gonna need the out of body experience though, but can you install that at the dealer?
I really want somebody to come out with a handycorn version and just have it be mall rated.
Well, I'm sure plenty of people will do that.
Yeah. Another thing I found interesting is that it is only 4-wheel drive. There's no 2-wheel drive.
Thank goodness.
Thank you.
No, Wait, what do you mean by only 4-wheel drive, never 2-wheel drive?
Like they don't make 2-wheel drive only models. Every model is
Yes.
4-wheel drive. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
they really thought ahead for this because there were some 2-wheel drive FJs, and then when I get on the forum, there's always that 2-wheel drive guy that's trying to make it as good as a 4-wheel drive, and you have to like listen to this, like, hey, it does pretty good for 2-wheel drive. I put a limited slip, and you're just like smashing your head with the keyboard, just like, please make it stop.
Same in the Forerunner and Tacoma crowd.
Yep, and the Xterra, and I believe Wranglers as well.
Yeah,
In 5 years, when I get on, like, wow, that's a really good deal. Maybe I should buy that, and then I'll be like, oh, it's actually not 4-wheel drive; it's a 2-wheel drive one.
Yeah, that one always tricks me.
Yep.
It's like, sweet deal. Oh, never mind. It's 2-wheel drive.
I actually know a guy that bought a Toyota pickup and thought he got a super good deal. He didn't realize what pre-runner meant, though.
Oh.
And
No, isn't that what they use before the Baja trucks go?
yeah,
The pre-runner trucks.
yeah,
That must be what it is.
the 2-wheel drive ones for sure.
Yep.
Trail turn assist. I'm. Is that the tire dragging?
Yes.
So the Land Cruisers have had that option for at least a couple years that I'm aware of, and it's nice to see it on a vehicle sub $80,000.
I'm kind of
Well-
excited about this, but I'm honestly wildly skeptical that it really works well.
Really, because they use it in cars that don't have limited slip. They lock tires for track packages and stuff like that to help them turn tighter.
On like what cars again?
Lots of cars will use. I'm pretty sure the Ford Focus and the Festiva. or
You're talking
Fiesta
about
are-
where it works like a limited slip by grabbing the wheel that's slipping to make the other side have traction.
Yes,
Yeah.
or even to turn tighter on the track as well.
I'm skeptical. I'm gonna be honest. I've seen lots of guys with
Yeah.
locked up brakes and they didn't turn that much better one direction. It just was dragging a
Mm.
tire. Like,
It
So,
just continued to push forward.
yeah,
Well, and you're kind of talking where you're on a loose surface versus like if you're on pavement, it would probably help you turn
A lot more.
quicker.
well, I feel like on pavement something would break.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
it's like I
that
need to
too,
get into
but-
this parking spot. Push that button.
What was that? Can you do that again?
Yeah.
Sounds
Have
about right.
you guys ever watched Initial D?
No.
Okay, well somebody listening has, and this is straight up like the curb grab. Somebody will get that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, gutter turn.
So the IFS claims to be more stable at high speed, like Baja and Ultra 4.
Yeah, they were talking about that with the Haas suspension, high performance off road stability suspension is what they're talking about there. And I mean, that's what they do run in Ultra 4 is IFS, and in Baja as well. You can go faster without a solid front.
I don't feel like that's really a claim. That's like common knowledge at this point that IFS is more stable at high speed. Like, is that really
Yeah.
like a wild
I
thing?
know you needed to point that out.
I'm just yeah, I
No,
know. It doesn't seem like a selling point. Like, I'm like, oh, okay.
I feel like they had to though, because everybody wanted it to be a solid front axle, and so they got to be like, well, this is why we didn't, so you can drive fast in the desert.
I feel like their answer should be the Raptor doesn't have one. Like, and just move on.
The Raptor doesn't rock crawl.
Yeah. So somebody on the YouTube stream said that they could use the trail assist turning on the trail this weekend because they broke a mirror, and I just want to say, welcome to the club.
Do you think they actually broke a mirror, or maybe that's like a backhanded thing at you?
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe that's a
What are the chances?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
they cited a specific trail, so I'm thinking maybe that actually happened.
Was it the same trail you broke yours?
No.
Okay, well, I take it back.
So front and rear lockers.
Well,
that should be
I want
standard.
to go back to the IFS. I want to go back to the IFS. What are you guys'
Okay.
thoughts on IFS?
I've been running it now for what 3 years. I like IFS. Um, I feel you get more capability out of a solid axle, but I
Oh.
think IFS
Yeah, I was waiting for that too.
is
Did you see my
great.
face go, what?
Yeah.
um I don't know. I mean, it all comes, and we say this a lot, and a lot of people get mad at this when people say this, but it really depends on what you want to do. Like, if you want to go rock crawl and you want to go do that type of thing, like you can't beat a solid axle. But if all you're doing is running the Forest Service roads and going out to the sand dunes or something like that, then absolutely go IFS.
See, I'm kind of this thing's already running 35s in like snow and mud. It's probably a benefit to have the IFS. And honestly, everybody goes off about the solid axle versus independent. In near stock modes, 35s, I don't feel like it's as much difference as people make out. Obviously, when you start getting super built, then it's an incredible difference. But at the level of 35s, haven't really seen a lot of difference unless they're getting like super flexy builds.
Well, yeah, and look at what I have to do to put on 35s. I mean, this is a factory 35 vehicle, and it's still IFS.
You know, which is nice. But that ups the game for all of us with older rigs that aren't made to run these big tires. So now these stock guys are going to come out in 35s, and I've done thousands of dollars worth of work for my 35s to fit and re-gear and stuff. And it's kind of like, okay,
Thanks, guys.
yeah, appreciate that. This
Yeah.
is nice. This is real. This feels good.
So one thing that I didn't see in the video is it, and I'm apparently ignorant here. Is it IFS only?
In the front, yeah, I'm quite sure it is.
Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean? Is it IFS and then a solid axle in the rear,
Yeah.
or IFS and IRS?
No, IFS and no solid axle in the front as an option.
Yeah, I don't think there's an option for that, even on the Sport that Ben wants to buy.
Well, of course it's not on the Sport. that one's probably IRS too.
Most likely is IRS, yes. Yep. Well, jumping forward, front and rear differential lockers, that's a given for this class of rigs. It's
Yeah,
gonna have them.
Well, do the newer Forerunners and Tacomas, the off-road, the TRDs, do they come with front lockers standard now too?
No.
No.
No, I think the only people that have a lockable front is the Chevy Colorado.
I thought the Pros had a front locker in them.
I'll look it up.
No,
I'm certain
I don't
they
think so.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but
Yeah. And then the Dodge Ram, or the Ram, oh, I've lost it. What's that big off-road Dodge Ram 2500
The
model?
Prospector?
No, not the
The Power Wagon.
Power Wagon,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
that
that's a
has
straight axle front.
yeah, but
right?
that's another stock vehicle with a front and rear locker.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
But I mean, for IFS rigs front locker, it's really just the Bison.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is not really. I mean, that's a super
Well,
limit.
no, I think the Z71 came with it as well.
Oh,
don't
really?
think
I
you had
thought
to
it was
have
just the Bison.
No, I don't think you had to have the Bison model for that. Nope.
Wow. Comes with a front locker to help try and pull the front end away from the bending frames.
To straighten it out.
Well, it's just to, to try and hold it all together.
Yeah.
somebody on the YouTube stream wants to know if it's ditch rated for Ben.
I would hope so.
Hey, horses love ditches.
Ditches love horses.
Ew.
Is that a country song?
Ditches be crazy.
We were talking about this earlier. The disconnectable front sway bar. They call it a hydraulic stabilizer disconnect. So I'm not sure if it's not just a mechanical front sway bar. It must have something else in it, some sort of dampeners or something.
I got an idea. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I was gonna say they said it can disconnect under load, so I'm wondering if they use the hydraulic to to take the torsion off, and then it disconnects.
I would lean towards that the actual sway bar link ends are hydraulics that they can are not even really hydraulics, but they're just valves, so they can release the valving and then they slide up and down. And then when you
Yeah.
come under load again, they revalve, and then as soon as you flex it, it's one way. That would be a super simple
clever.
way to do it. And I'm thinking that's if they didn't do that way, they should have hired me to tell an engineer to do that way.
Yeah, I like that.
I am an engineer, and you figured that out instead of me. Jeez. Uh-oh.
Well, I only went to 8th grade, so I'm too dumb to really like I don't have all this information in my head slowing me down. It's clear.
I'm also a structural, so if you want to talk about the structural steel in the frame, then I'm great. Hydraulics, no, not so much.
I should have had you when I had to redo the bridge to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
I like wood.
Well, I did take wood
Please
classes as
cut that
well.
drop out and save it to play whenever you want. It would mean a lot.
I like wood.
Will do.
I like turtles.
So 3,500 pounds of towing. What is the JL on towing? Isn't that,
I think it's this. I think it's the same. It's between 3 and 3,500.
and
I can't remember.
And I think a lot has to do with the wheelbase for these on what's limiting the towing. Of
Yeah.
what they'll say for towing.
Wheelbase, weight of the vehicle, and brakes.
Yeah.
So it also has a 3,500 pound on the JL.
Makes sense.
Hey guys, it is time to break in the show. We need to stop the podcast because we have a code for you this week. This week's code, I'm sure you're going to, when you hear it, it's going to be pretty obvious. It is Bronco. So go ahead and head over to the Gleam site. Easiest way to get to that is go through our Facebook page and type in the code Bronco for this week's 50 extra entries.
Well, let's talk about some of the accessories here. I mentioned it earlier, the hollow doors, the see-through doors that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, they were kind of like a style of a tube door or something.
Yeah, they were pretty awesome.
Tube door explains it. Yeah.
But like picture a tube door that looks like a normal vehicle door. Like it's got normal plating on it.
Yeah, skin.
It
Yeah.
looked like they took the window out of like a rear quarter of something and stuck it in the middle of the door. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
LED light bars. I'm wondering how if they're gonna whose LEDs they're using.
In the video, it was
Yeah.
a rigid Evo or whatever their ultra expensive adjustable beam one was. Or rigid what is it?
Bars on the video.
What's that?
They showed two different bars. They showed one on the roof and one on a bumper.
The one on the roof was that ultra expensive rigid one that like changes beam pattern with speed and stuff.
So they teamed up with
It
Rick for LED.
looked
Makes
expensive.
sense.
Yeah.
Rock rails, sliders, those are pretty nice. Roof racks. It's a roof rack. Didn't really get to see.
That yeah, but that's a cool stuff because you don't just put a roof rack on a Jeep.
Yeah.
Aaron, you're kind of going robot-y for me. Is he going robot-y for anybody else?
He's full Pacific Rim for me.
So yeah, that is really cool that there is a factory roof rack out the door, steel front and rear bumpers. It's kind of like you could equip your vehicle from the factory exactly what you'd want to build, and there's your car payment right there. You're not going to be fighting with your wife over I want to buy this upgrade next week. No. Okay, how about the week after that? No.
So you lie to your wife and just roll it into your car payment and tell her that was
Yep.
the car payment.
Yep.
$60,000 Bronco, babe. That's base price for the
Yeah.
option we got. You wanted the Sasquatch package with a lot of other stuff.
Yeah,
We
well,
got a steal of the deal. That it's going for like 100K, but yeah, this one was like 70K. No worry, don't worry about it.
Markdown.
but I mean, but what it does do is you've got your rig completely built from the factory, ready to rock and roll. I imagine that you'll have a warranty with it, so all that stuff's going to be covered under warranty too.
The sad part, there's no building up to the capability and all the stuff you have on these vehicles, and there's going to be a lot of people that order this how they want, and they came from a Geo Tracker or a Subaru or just a Ford F-150, and they're going to have this built rig, and they're going to have some problems
Yeah,
when they get into the
going to be
No.
like the UTVs on the trails sometimes.
Yes.
Sorry, you
Yep.
guys, but not all you guys know how to drive properly on the trails and take shortcuts and tear up trails. And
Well, it's not just that. It's that you can get into a lot more dangerous situations when you have a more capable rig, and you can actually it can end up biting you if you don't know how to drive it. So that's part of the reason why a lot of people say, "Hey, drive your rig for a while as stock, and then slowly build it up, so you can kind of figure out how it works and slowly improve your skills so you're not just getting way over your head."
yeah.
Eric,
Now, I'm honestly super excited to see all the videos of people dropping their doors trying to put them in the back of this thing and just totally ruining them.
ooh,
I mean, it's way up over like this. These things are high off the ground. I don't know what the doors weigh, but they're usually not super lightweight. Someone's going to drop doors and it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, as they're trying to load them into the back of their lifted Bronco.
I mean, we're going to have a video. They're going to be at the dunes. They're going to crest a Razorback, and you're just going to see the doors literally blow off out the back.
Oh, I forgot to put them strapped in.
your doors in the trunk, regardless. Like when I took the doors off my Jeep, it was they went into the garage and they stayed there until I put them back on. And if it rained, it rained. I didn't mind raining on the inside of my windshield.
Yeah, I can't imagine people really storing them in the back because that's where all your gear goes.
Yep.
What'd you guys think about the open roof that doesn't have that crossbar that the Jeeps have?
I did like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's like a moonroof.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I never really cared about the crossbar there because you can't really tell when you're in the front of the Jeep. But it was really cool when you're looking at the pictures and you can see, the whole passenger area is open. That was pretty cool. But I don't know if it would sway me over to buying a Bronco instead of a Jeep because of it.
It did have some really chunky A, B, and C pillars on that thing.
That's true. Yeah.
That was probably pretty expensive.
You know, I really like that it didn't have the crossbar because if you ever decide to mount like a Ma Deuce on top of that thing, you don't have to deal with that.
Yes.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yes.
Although, maybe use that maybe use that crossbar to mount it to.
Well, the Bronco, see, it has like the roof rack, so it's already strong enough to hold the Ma Deuce, is what I'm thinking.
I see.
That's my math.
Good math.
Did you guys see a picture of it with limb risers on it?
No, but I'm wondering if those handles I originally was talking about is part of the limb riser thing,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
which is kind of lame.
Mirrors on the body. I'm happy to hear that. That's one thing I hated about my Jeep was the door, the mirrors on my JK, having to pull them to put them on. Some brackets that I had to buy aftermarket.
Yeah, or you have to get some mirrors that attach to the door hinge or something, which I still need to do.
I've still got my old brackets. If you're interested.
So with your brackets, do you have to pull the mirrors from the Jeep?
Yes.
No, that doesn't sound. No, that's too much work. I'll just buy some that go into the hinge.
Yep.
Right. right next to your footrest?
No, no thanks.
Let's see, full LED dash and gauge setup. That was pretty nice.
That was really slick, and it looked like it was configurable also.
Hmm.
The 6 switches that are already pre-mounted in there. Thank you, Ford. Like all companies should
Yes.
be doing this now. Should have
Yeah,
been doing it for a long time.
people are using aftermarket stuff. Please just have factory built-in switches, and please have a place to go for the through the firewall or attach that go to those switches in the firewall, so that you're not having to
No, just put
grab.
do like a full S pod thing and have a little box where you can mount all that stuff into.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's kind of how it is already. I mean, it's just got a row of 6 switches with all the
Right.
wires pre-ran. Which
Yeah.
also I like that they did them on the roof by the rearview mirror, because then you feel like you're a helicopter pilot, like slapping the switches up above. You know,
Yes.
Up to 8 cup holders. Fancy, fancy.
Isn't that exciting? What I thought was really funny about this one was that as I was researching, it said 6 cup holders, and then I came across something that said optional 8 cup holders. I'm like, what kind of option do you have to check to get 2 more cup holders somewhere?
The
manual
family
transmission
option.
has 2 more cup holders. Bet that money.
I think it was Top Gear. They did that episode where they were where they had to transport drinks. So that would have come in handy if they were trying to do that challenge.
Yep.
And it
It's
also
got.
super
Go ahead.
exciting, has lots of USB charging ports.
Yeah, they mentioned that they were everywhere, and then also there's a 115-volt outlet on the backside of the center console, which is pretty slick. I was just thinking about our Nevada trip coming up, and I might be bringing a drone. Um, and if I want to charge the batteries, I got to bring something that I can plug in to charge the batteries because my charger's not a 12-volt charger for the battery system.
I
Yeah.
have a plug-in in my FJ. I don't know
Okay.
how many amps it is, but
All of
I'm
them.
so I regularly fly the drone for the podcast, and so I actually have an inverter that velcros to the back of my console for that purpose. Like
I
that's the only
Mm.
reason it's there is to charge the drone batteries.
I
Yep.
have a 400 watt jump box from what is it? Power something. So it's handy for that. Bar on top of the dash to mount your
Did,
phone, GoPro, and other.
did you guys see that in a couple of different clips? That like aluminum, this is like a stylized aluminum bar that is all the way at the
Uh,
front of the windshield.
it looked like GoPro or not GoPro, RAM mounts slider mount, which it probably is.
Yes, it did look similar to that. Yeah. And they showed a phone mounted on it, a GoPro mounted on it. And I'm sure that it's like stout where you could probably use some sort of articulated RAM mount um, for a tablet, even shooting far out.
it looks like, and you can mount any position from A to B pillar too.
I didn't think it went that far. It looked like it was from the center of the driver's seat to the center of the passenger seat, is my guess on the
Okay.
length.
But
Well, I'm still excited to see somebody have like a navigation, then their phone, Garmin InReach, a ham radio face, and just have the whole windscreen just filled up with other screens.
Or if they like put a giant screen in front of them, but then a forward facing camera. So they're driving through a screen.
Only if it's an IR camera. They can
Well,
see the lights.
there is the forward facing camera, and from the looks of it, from the ad, or the release video, it looks like you can actually record video onto it and then
no, this is more than forward facing. This is 360 degree.
well,
No, I know what he's talking about, and that looks
Yeah.
super cool. You could
Yeah.
you can like what a lot of people do when they record trails is they just put a GoPro on the front. Like if you think about like Trails Off Road in their videos and they just have the camera facing forward the whole time. It looks like it looks like the Bronco will do that for you.
it looks like it'll overlay it with the GPS tracks, so you could just go
Yes.
back to the trail and say what I saw here and
Yep.
click.
Angles too, so you'll be able to see. Oh, this is actually pretty steep because cameras never give it good justification.
Yeah, it looked like it came with inclinometer and an altimeter and stuff as well, side hill angles.
Wait, it had an altimeter?
I think that it showed that in one of the pictures on
with
the
the map, the NeoTrack map system.
Oh, not okay.
Yeah.
I see. I thought
not an analog thing.
that
Just
that
it was
would be
on
super cool,
the
but on
just
the
the
GPS,
center
yeah.
stack. Yeah.
Those in kilometers and I don't know what the side to side. The FJ cruisers had the little compass, temperature, and inclometer option. They are completely worthless.
Oh, really?
It, well, it's a little floating ball that if you're. I mean,
With lines but no numbers that told you any
and it's like,
real
oh, well, if I
data.
go over one more mark, do I roll? Like, if you're on that much of an angle, I promise you're not looking at the inclometer. You're
No.
doing a lot of other things, but looking at that, you will not be doing.
Well, we talk about this display of all this stuff, and it's on a 12-inch screen. That's pretty big.
That's huge. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, for like what our radios, mine's a 5 or 6 inch for my doubled in. It might be 7, but still 12 inches. That's massive. That's the only thing I can think of that's bigger.
Please record that drop.
I'm the guy that
So
did-
I mean, I think that my laptop screen is like 11.7 or something like that.
yeah, and my tablet is, I've got an 8-inch tablet and a 10.1.
Yeah. So I mean, that's 12 inches is a really large display.
What I'm curious what
We better move on.
Tesla, how big the Tesla screens are.
Yeah.
Ford's is almost as big as Tesla's for sure.
So we mentioned the 360-degree off-road camera with spotter views. That's kind of nice. Gives you more reason not to go with anyone, right?
It showed on there, but it didn't show it functioning, but it showed like some white tire track lines leading off the front of the vehicle. I'm wondering if, like with rear view cameras, some of them, when you turn your wheel, that the angles change of the lines so you know exactly where you'll be turning into. I wonder if that also works on this, where it shows where your tires will end up.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
I'm gonna say yes on that.
So I do have a comment about the 360-degree spotter thing. It's never going to replace a actual spotter. From what I've learned from my forward-facing camera on my Jeep is, I often say that, especially rock crawling, is kind of a moving game of memory, because because you can't see like the 6 feet in front of your vehicle. You just can't see anything. So you're like, okay, I can't remember, especially when you're by yourself and don't have a spotter, you're like, okay, I think I need to turn right here soon, but I don't know if it's now or 4 feet from now. The camera can help a little bit for trying to figure out where you are in your line, but other than that, it doesn't do much good.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be way better though than what you're talking about on a forward facing camera, because it's like displaying all the information.
Right. But
So
but
my wife's
I think you see
RAV4
way
has a
more.
360-degree camera, and I promise it's gonna suck.
yeah, so my problem with the cameras is not necessarily that you can't see everything. It's that it flattens everything out.
True.
So
That's
you don't
true.
know if you turn now, you're going to get high centered because you just cannot see the depth.
Yeah. That's in about 10 more years they'll have the 3D camera. Sonar, yeah. Boom.
Echolocation.
Boom. Yeah.
So I think it's cool, but
yeah,
I don't think it's ever going to replace actually having a spotter through, if you actually do need a spotter.
Now, if you can use that 12-inch screen and launch your drone and then have that video there, that might be something we could get behind.
Well, it's still flatten it out. The higher you go,
but
the
it
more
would
it's
be
going
a
to flatten
drone.
things.
It'd be super cool.
Yeah, well, Aaron would just go manual mode and crash.
Too close for missiles, switching to guns.
LED lights all around.
Yeah, so I thought this was interesting because all the ads for this Bronco like have the LED lights just popping, and then as as I was reading on Ford's website today, you don't get LED lights with the base model or even halfway up the trim line. You don't get the LED lights till the higher end models. So I was kind of bummed about that. I don't know why they don't just make that stuff standard. There's only one part number, makes it nice for everybody. You don't have to have a peasant mode headlights. It's a
But
safety thing.
17-inch beadlocks. Thank you
Oh.
for doing beadlocks.
Beadlock capable wheels.
Well,
which-
that option is on the Raptor as well. They're not going to let you leave the factory with beadlocks, but they have all the parts for you.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you just skipped over though, real quick, that there is no weight, like we mentioned earlier. They don't have any listing for the weight, and there was no fuel capacity listed either. And that was kind of something that I was really interested in knowing as a comparison to the other rigs and stuff. And of course, they don't give any fuel economy data right now either.
Yeah, I imagine they're probably holding their tongues on this, just as a liability. I know that's bitten some companies in the butt in the past when they
Yeah,
said,
including Ford.
"Yep."
Since they're already starting the pre-order, if they said fuel mileage, and
Oh, I don't. What you mean? I'm not getting 30 miles per gallon?
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you know that you can pre-order this today for $100 down, and it's a refundable deposit?
Don't make me do it.
You can't afford it.
I know I can't. That's why I want to do it anyways.
Ben, you need a tow rig for that camper with a bathroom.
Not at 3,500 pounds.
And well, that's for the 2-door, not the 4-door.
Yeah, I'm sure the 4-door is not
No,
much
that's
better.
it's the 2-door and the 4-door are both 3,500 pounds.
That would be super surprising to me, but
Pretty sure. I think that's what I saw on Ford's
the
website.
2-door and 4-door Jeeps have different tow ratings, don't they?
Yeah, Jeep the 4-door gets like 500 more pounds or something like that.
Oh, isn't that it? I thought it was like 5,000.
No, it's
No, that's
not that
the
much. The
that's the
JT.
Gladiator. Yeah, the JT.
Oh, never mind. Keep the 4Runner then, because I think it's 6,000.
Yep. So let's talk about the Sasquatch package. So we've already touched on a couple things here. The 17-inch beadlock capable wheels. I do think that is pretty cool that they come from the factory with beadlocks. 35-inch tires, front and rear lockers. Like we mentioned before, the Bilstein position sensitive dampers. And then these last two things we haven't touched on yet. High clearance fender flares. That's great that it comes in a package, but the one that I'm really excited is the 4.7 final drive, as they call that. I'm pretty sure the Rubicon is only a 4 final drive.
See, I'm actually pretty excited about the high clearance fender flares because that means that's what you take off to fit 37s without trimming the body.
True. That's true.
Well, I bet they use the high clearance fender flares to get the 35s on there.
Yeah, but then no fender flares get you.
Oh, I
37s.
see. I
Yeah.
see. And a lot of broken parts.
Yeah.
I will say I didn't like the look of the fender flares. They're very round. And I think it's just because I'm so used to seeing Jeeps rectangular boxy flares, and these are just really round. They almost look like I hate to say it, but that one meme of the Bronco 2 in the Walmart parking lot with the swimming pool fender flares that are really round and circular.
I think luckily the aftermarket's going to jump right into rectifying
I
any
hope so.
fender flare stuff you want.
Yeah.
That may be one of the few things they can do very easily.
What do you guys think about that final drive that I just threw out there? 4.7.
That's
that.
the with in low, right?
Yeah, I assume that they're calling it final drive. I assume that's a crawl ratio.
That is nice because that's what
Because
uh,
the Rubicon, I think, is a 4 to 1. So
4
this
to
would be a 4.7 to 1.
See, that's got to be that granny low jumping in there.
Yeah.
that'll be nice.
I wonder if that 10-speed auto starts in second gear always, and I wonder if the first speed of the auto is a granny low, just like the first gear of the 7-speed manual is rumored to be a granny gear.
So What did you say it was? A 4 what?
4.7.
4.7. Okay, so the Rubicon's a 4.1.
Oh,
Oh, the
4.1. I thought it was a 4-1, but 0.1. Yeah, I'm off by 1.
Well, the
I don't
4.7 would still be a lower gear, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I don't have all the Jeep specs memorized.
Yeah. No, I'm betting that the 10-speed auto, when you put it in 4 low, then has the granny added in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, any more thoughts on the real Bronco before we talk about the kid sister Bronco Sport?
It's gonna be interesting. I think Ford kind of is cutting the aftermarket down a lot on letting with other companies, but I could be wrong. Maybe they're only offering it to certain companies, and then they're licensing it as a Ford product, and maybe the other companies will still be able to bone it to sell it under their name as well. I don't know.
I agree with you guys that I do think that Ford is shooting themselves in the foot a little bit by hogging all the fanfare at the beginning with their optional accessories. But I think that this is such a huge event. I mean, it is a buzz for the past week, and then a huge buzz all day today on social media talking about the Bronco release. And I really feel like it's going to explode just like the jail did so quickly as soon as it was released.
And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those optional accessories are actually brands we've already heard of, but they'll just be sold
As for
selling them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That could be, yeah. Yep. Well, let's we're running super long here. Let's see if we can crank out some info on the Bronco Sport. The list is way shorter than the real Bronco here. So 245 horsepower, 275 foot-pounds of torque. How does that compare to your Forerunner, Ben? Do you know what your specs are on the runner?
I don't know what my specs are on
I
the
think
Ford.
that's actually pretty similar. I'm not sure about the torque, but the horsepower I think's right there.
The Xterra and the Frontier were, I think, 271 horse and 285 torque or 265 torque. So right around the same, maybe a little more horsepower, a little less torque. I'm not sure. But
So 236 horsepower on my V6 and 266 foot-pounds.
yeah. So it's in the ballpark for this type of rig.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're putting Ben's rig in the class with this?
I am.
That's
Yeah.
mean and not nice.
Well,
And
so how much ground clearance does Ben's rig have?
how many transfer cases does this one have?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And he's only a little sour because he's got an FJ, so
I'm not sour. I'm just
yeah.
this Bronco Sport makes me a little sick to my stomach. I'm not a fan at all.
Yeah. It's got so a center and rear locker. So it does turn it into a four-wheel drive, but it's got no low range. But it does have a locker, which is pretty awesome because you don't really see that on. Does the Trailhawk have a locker? But that has a low range in the Trailhawk.
Also, I think it turns it into a 3-wheel drive.
Yeah. 8-inch screen, over 100 factory accessories, Molly on the seats.
There goes. Now I have to get rid of all my Molly stuff.
The Molly on things is. I see the Molly panels all the time and all the other Molly accessories, and I'm just like, oh, who's your market? Guys with lots of stuff in little bags?
Overland is.
Yeah.
Well, the guy who needs to strap his inverter to the back to charge his quadcopter.
I'm honestly super excited about the interior bike rack this comes with. Because like after a hard day mountain biking, I like to just throw my muddy mountain bike in the inside of my vehicle.
Oh, totally.
And then I strap my kids to the kid carrier on the rear bumper.
Bumper. Wow, I put them on the front bumper.
Oh no, I hang them off the hitch receiver.
Keeps no. You put them on the front because they keep your Jeep a little cleaner because they take some of the bugs.
See, I put them off the back so when they get car sick, it keeps tailgaters away.
And I just throw them on the duct tape them on the roof. Let's see. Slide out table from the rear hatch. Fancy.
Okay. I'll take back a little bit. That's cool. I'm into that.
Didn't the RAV4 have that back in the day, or the CRV?
Probably, maybe. I have no idea.
And then hidden storage under the rear seats. That is cool. I feel like that's always been a missed market in the car world where it's like, hey, there should be storage under these seats. Instead, there's just a little hump, and then there's important off-road capable parts under there.
Do you have car seats?
I do. Yeah.
Clay, are you certain? Clay, Coy, Coy, C word guy. Are you certain that it does not have a transfer case? Because I'm on their website and I haven't proved one way or the other, but they keep calling it a 4x4, not an all-wheel drive.
I could be wrong. I understood it didn't, but it was
It
just an
says-
understanding.
It says drive type 4x4.
The fact that it had the center lock with the dual clutch to activate the rear tires instead of the fronts made me assume and kind of
Yeah.
believe that it didn't have a transfer case, because that's generally how that works, but could be wrong.
I wonder how many front-wheel drive vehicles have transfer cases. Not many.
I think in Australia there were some Subarus that you could get a low range.
Yeah. So it says the advanced 4x4 system with twin clutch rear drive unit offers much needed grip and traction.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a transfer case to me. That
Yeah.
I could be
Yeah.
wrong, and even if I am, I still don't like it.
Yep. Well, that kind of covers that one, huh? That's the Sport.
Yep. What we didn't mention was that it has, I mentioned the horsepower, but it's out of a 2-liter EcoBoost motor. And also it has the all 7 GOAT modes, depending on which model you get as well.
Ooh, GOAT mode. So does that make it GOAT rated?
You could definitely Baja with it. I mean, if it's got a Baja mode, then it's got the water crossing mode. So
Yeah. So almost 2 feet of water fording with that rig. That's impressive for what Clay is calling Clay. Man, I keep calling you Clay.
my son's
Coy
name is
is-
actually Clay, so it's not
Is
that
it
weird
really?
for me. Yeah, so like I get that a lot.
It's like
I didn't know that. But for what you're calling a cute ute, 2 feet of water fording is pretty legit.
There were some things that are nice about it, but it's like there is a real option, just one step over.
Well,
Like
but
once
maybe
all
this-
the 2 and 4-door Broncos are sold and none are available, then let's go back to the Sport and we'll check those out. It's like how I treat chicken. When all the cows are gone, then I go ahead and have some chicken.
I just feel like this is for those people who aren't into Baja mode or rock crawling, but they love going to those waterfalls in the middle of nowhere, and they want the most capable waterfall driving SUV.
You're not quite there to buy a Land Rover. You're, American. You just get this.
Yeah. Although it does look very Land
It's
Rover-ish.
for sure a Land Rover.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that was a lot of information. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around for this over 2-hour long podcast. Lots of details. Let us know what you think. Write into us, email us, send your carrier pigeons to Ben's house because his internet's acting up again. Just let us know what you think.
All right. Well, that wraps it up.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren and Power Tank to see all of their great gear. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.tv. or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com, Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe and courteous, and thanks for listening.
And the next time Koi's on, it will be to talk about his Alvord camping trip.
Or it'll be to talk about the Nevada trip.
There we go.
Try to have you on before that.
Yeah, we'll have you on before that.